In this video, we're going to do a lighting effects tutorial using a coffee cup. I already have my coffee cup downloaded and in Photoshop, so now I'm going to start by creating a new document. So I'm going to go to File, New. My presets are already here for me, but make sure that your unit of measurement is inches. And then go ahead and make your width 17. Your height 14, again with inches, your resolution 72, your color mode, change that to RGB. You can simply click the down arrow. And then if your background content is anything other than white, make sure you change it to white. Once you have these settings in, go ahead and click OK. Now we're going to unlock the background layer by double clicking and then click OK. I want to add a gradient overlay and a pattern overlay for my background layer. So I'm going to click my little FX for my styles and click on gradient overlay. That brings up my gradient overlay editor. So first I'm going to change my blend mode from normal to multiply. I'm going to change my style from linear to radial. And then we want to change our color. So I'm going to click on the actual gradient bar to edit it. And I'm going to double click on the left side bottom square, the color stop, and I'm going to double click. And in here, we're going to go ahead and type in our color code. For our first one on the left, it's going to be 7A3909. Should get kind of like a light brown color. Click OK. And on the right side, we're going to double click that one, and we're going to enter in 220A01. And now you have a dark brown color, almost so dark it's black. Go ahead and click OK. We are done with our gradient editor, so you can go ahead and click OK. Next, we're going to switch over to our pattern overlay, so go ahead and click on that. We're going to leave everything the same except we're going to change the pattern. So I'm going to click on the pattern. If you do not have these original 5 default patterns, go ahead and go to your settings wheel and hit reset patterns and then click OK. If you do have these, or once you get them, click on the 5th and last one. Kind of looks like static but very light. And that's all we're doing for our layer style here. So we're just going to click OK. You should end up with something that looks like this. Now we're going to add our coffee cup to our background. So since I already have it open, I'm going to click on it. There is no background for my coffee cup, so I'm just going to select my move tool and click and drag it to my new file. I'm going to kind of place it somewhat in the middle. There we go. And now we're going to add a little circle to add a Gaussian blur to. So make sure you have your default colors here at the bottom. If you don't, click the mini black and white square, and then click your double arrows to make sure the white is on top. Now, you might have your rectangle tool here or something else. So go ahead and right click it, and then you can grab your ellipse tool. So now I'm just going to click and drag and kind of make a small circle that kind of looks like it's fitting inside my coffee cup. Don't worry about the placement or the size. You can always change that. So I'm just going to go ahead and move mine a little bit more into the center. You can do the same if you'd like. Now that I have my ellipse and I kind of have it placed where I would like, I'm going to go ahead and go to Filter and Blur and Gaussian Blur. It's going to ask you if you'd like to rasterize the shape, and you're going to, so click OK. Now that you have your Gaussian Blur setting up, make sure the radius you change that to 30 and then click OK. Now it kind of looks like a little puff, and we're going to add a new layer group. So I'm going to come over here to my layers panel, and I'm going to click what looks like a little folder. It says create new group. We're going to double click on group 1 to rename it lighting effects. Hit enter when you're done. Now, before we do anything else, we want to change our blend mode here, which says pass through, to color dodge, which is kind of in the center of the list. Now we want to add that little ellipse, now puff, into our folder. So I'm going to click and drag it on top of the folder and then release. You should see now your white puff kind of looks like a little globe of light. If not, just double check your settings. Next, we're going to do some paintbrush presets as well. So first we want to select our paintbrush tool, which is right here for you, about the 6th one, 7th one down. If it's, you might have your pencil or something else up, so just make sure you have your paintbrush tool selected. Once you have that selected, you'll notice you have your brush presets, or brush panels, what they call it as well. You want to click on that, and now you should get this new setting up over here. So the first thing we're going to do here is you want to make sure that the brush tip shape is selected. We're going to check and uncheck some things. Maybe it's different for you, but we want to have our shape dynamics checked, our scattering checked. We don't need our color or our transfer. We want our smoothing checked and our protect texture checked. So now that I have these, I'm going to go ahead and change a couple of things in here as well. Over here, where you see a bunch of different pencils and things like that, I'm just going to go ahead and click on the one that looks like a pencil and it has the number 9 underneath it. And so if it's something different, you can just change the size to 9. Then we're going to leave the softness at 0. And we're going to change the spacing though from 8% to 375. Once you type that in, you can hit enter. The shape dynamics is the next one to look at. We're going to change the angle jitter from 100% to 0%. If yours is already at 0, you do not need to change anything. And then the last one we're going to look at is the scattering. So you want to make sure you have both axes with a check. Then you want to change your top percentage, your scatter, to 1,000, your count to 2, and your count jitter to 100. And then just hit enter. Now we are ready to make some sparks coming out of our coffee cup. So I'm just going to hit these little double arrows to make that menu go away. Go ahead and make sure you create a new layer and go ahead and rename that from layer 1 to sparks. Now with this new layer selected and making sure our color is white, I'm going to click and drag from the coffee cup and up. And you can do this as much as you'd like, as many times as you'd like, until you are happy with it. We are going to add now an outer glow to our little sparks that we've created. I'm just going to make a few more here just so you can really see them. So what we're going to do is we're going to right click on our sparks layer, go to blending options, click on the outer glow down towards the bottom, and we're going to change a couple of things. We're going to change our blend mode from screen to color dodge, our opacity to 99. We're going to leave our noise at 0, technique at softer, spread at 0, size at 5, and everything else is going to remain the same. So once you have that, you can go ahead and click OK. And now they kind of have a little bit of a brighter look. Now we're going to add some smoke or some steam to our coffee cup. So you want to go ahead and create a new layer. Go ahead and again double click layer 1 and call it smoke so we remember what layer is what. We're going to grab our lasso tool and we want to change the feather of our lasso tool options bar from 0 to 40. Now this part doesn't matter as much. You're just going to click and drag and make like kind of like a random smoke or steam circle or weird pattern if you would like. And you do want to make sure that your color is white on top and black in the background. And so now we're going to go to Filter, down to Render, and Clouds. And you see I kind of have like this orangey kind of smoky look. I'm going to do Control D to deselect. And then I'm going to move my smoke layer so that it is behind the sparks but above our ellipse. All you have to do is click and drag as you saw me do. And now we're going to add some text. But I'm going to go ahead and stop this video where it is. And please continue on to the next video for the text and the text effect.